Hi. What's up with you? You're so cute. Go lie down. Hey guys, I hope you are all doing well. I know it's been a while since I've posted something, and this video is actually something that I've thought about talking about for quite a while now, and I actually made one video on this topic, but I didn't like the way it turned out. Yeah, I thought I could shine it in a much different light than I did, so here we go. Anxiety. I find that there's really a lot of stigma around this topic, like so many mental health aspects. Let's start with my experience. If you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that I've been through a lot. What I've been through has been physically difficult, but it's also been extremely mentally difficult as well. It's put a lot of stress on me. It's put a lot of stress on my family and my friends as well. You know, I've had to fight a lot of emotions. I've had to fight a lot of stress and learn how to process those and deal with those. And one thing I never thought I'd experience is anxiety. I heard about anxiety. I heard about other people's experiences with anxiety. It never hit home for me. With the stress I've been under in the last 2 years, really a lot longer than that, but for the sake of this discussion, let's say 2 years. With the stress that I've been under, I got kind of this buildup of stress and emotion. I didn't know what was going on with my body, and that was scary for me. Not having that understanding made me question my body and what was going on with it. One day, I just got this wave of fear out of nowhere, and there was no reason for it. It was like it was only a physiological reaction. It was only happening in my body, and I wasn't stressed about anything immediate at the time. It washed over me, and I realized then that that was an anxiety attack or a panic attack. I really don't know the difference. It felt awful. It was something that I'd never experienced before, and I never thought that I'd have. I'm just not a person with anxiety. So after that day, I started to question when those would show up again. You know, if I was in a public place, would I feel anxiety? Like, would I lose my composure? Would I get myself into an embarrassing situation that felt very threatening to me? And I started to worry about when that would happen. I was just putting on my makeup that day that I had my first anxiety attack, and it just, like I said, came out of nowhere. So if it happened that one time, I started to worry about it happening at any other time out of the blue like that. And I can totally understand now why it's such a difficult thing for people to live with. I'm lucky. Let's call it stress-induced anxiety that I have experienced before. I can't even imagine what it would take somebody who is actually living with anxiety as a condition on a day-to-day basis. That must be so difficult. So on top of everything else that my body was going through, I had the anxiety fear on top of that as well. And that just added some more stress. It added a new dynamic to my life where I was questioning, what if this happens when this person is around, or what if it happens when I'm in that situation? And I don't want that. That was it. I don't want that. I felt like I needed to fight it or avoid it. That was another challenge, and because I'm not a person with anxiety, generally speaking, I didn't think I'd ever experience that. And I think that's why it's really important to talk about the fact that, you know, anybody can experience it. We are living in an extremely stressful time. It's a stressful world. It's extremely fast-paced, and, you know, technological changes and the internet and this social media stuff and bullying, you know, the stress that we're under, it's normal for that stress to accumulate, I think, and to be expressed that way as anxiety. And I think it's really, really important for people to understand that, because I imagine that a lot of people would experience anxiety and say, hey, like, does this mean I'm weak? I don't want to tell anybody about this. I don't understand what's going on. I'm here to say that my personal opinion is that you should never be ashamed of it. I think that it's normal in today's society because we are simply coping with the stress of day-to-day living and interpersonal relations. We're all trying to get along, and we're trying to make enough money, and we're trying to do the right things, and we're trying to progress and make the most of our lives. And you know, that's a lot of pressure we put on ourselves, and I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm just saying that it's okay if that stress comes out as anxiety. I would hate for somebody who has experienced it to feel bad about themselves. You know, the last thing you want to do is put more stress onto yourself. Just learn to work through it and not be devastated by it. Not be hard on yourself. Just don't be hard on yourself. You know, I really think that every experience that we have in this life we can learn from. I really do. Anxiety is no different. It's all coming from a person that hasn't experienced chronic anxiety. I've only experienced it a few times over the last 2 years. That's not a lot, but you know what? I went through that time period where I thought, wow, how can I experience this? I thought I was dealing okay, and I was really hard on myself because I thought maybe I wasn't. It's all part of your body expressing and your mind expressing the stress that we are under all the time. And I think that's totally normal. I really do. I don't know that much about it as a medical condition, honestly, but that's my take on things. If we look at it that way and we take some of the stigma out of it as it being more normal and, you know what, more prevalent than we thought, I think that's really important because people will start opening up and talking about it more, and I think that is the first step to healing. Oh my God. This is so cool. We have a big tree outside in our front yard, outside the house, and there's a mama raccoon living inside of it, and every once in a while we can see her little cave from our living room window, and every once in a while her feet stick out, and I just looked over and she's stretched and her feet all came out of the hole. I think maybe her den's a little too small. On that note, I really want to share with some of the tips that I use when I'm feeling anxious. Tip number 1. If I'm at home, I really like to create a calming environment for myself. And that means not just calming, but in a way that's like all my familiar favorite things. I like to really, really ground myself with that. For me, that's music. And, you know, I light a candle. And also incense. Like East Indian incense. I absolutely love that stuff, and it always calms me down. It feels like it's supporting my mind and my body. Regardless of what that is for you, just give yourself those things if you can. Tip number 2. There is an energy technique that I really, really like to use that I find calms me down, whether I'm even feeling anxious or just a little bit stressed. You take your left hand and you place it on your forehead, and you put all your fingers together on your other hand. You place it just at the base of your skull, just like that. And you close your eyes and you breathe. Nice, deep, calm breaths. Do that for at least a minute. I got that from a book that I don't have on me right now. I think it's Energy Medicine for Women. Men can use it too, I'm pretty sure. I will find the link and leave it down below for you guys if you want. Also, there's a breathing technique, I don't know what it's called. In for 4 counts and out for 4 counts. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Just like that. And that is supposed to calm your nervous system as well. Again, that's just worked for me. Find what works for you, give them a shot, and if they don't work for you, just toss them out. Tip number 3, dogs. It feels awesome to hug a dog, but there's more to it than that. It's been proven that your nervous system will actually respond to a dog's heartbeat. A dog's heartbeat normally beats in a very, very calm state. And that will actually, your body will neurologically respond to that dog's calm nervous system. So they will actually calm your energy. That can go a great length towards dispelling some of that anxiety that might be building up, that reaction that you have. Tip number 4. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of medication. I never have been, but honestly, having Ativan there with me has gone a long way to helping my frame of mind. I'm not saying I rely on it, but a few times when I've been feeling anxious and I'm with people, I'm out in a social environment, just having it there, having it available to be taken at a moment's notice, it can actually in itself dispel the anxiety that I'm feeling. I very rarely take it, but I usually have it with me. Talk to your doctor, see if there's anything that you can get for your specific anxiety. Again, like, just don't keep it all to yourself and try and deal with it alone. Tip number 5 is not unique to me, but it's not going to be for everyone. I find something that really helps me is gardening, and that's, I think, partly because of the work involved and partly because I'm working with soil and just spending time in nature with living things. It doesn't have to be gardening, you know, go walk in nature, find a lawn somewhere and take your shoes off and just walk in it, and it really does help just to ground you. Not only that, like, take you out of your mind, it'll take you out of your brain space. When I've experienced these attacks, sometimes I feel like a big part of the problem is the fact that I'm afraid of it and I'm thinking about it, and if I'm thinking about it, it's almost like I'm saying, okay, is it happening now? Is it happening now? How can I fix this? How can I get out of this state of mind and not have this attack happen? And you fight it and you fight it and you get stressed out, and then because you're thinking about it so much, I think you can actually induce it. Another thing they say really helps is going for walks and looking at things that are very far away. So if you're in a city, look at a faraway skyscraper, like a big building you can focus on. Look at mountains, look at trees far away. Again, that brings you out of your head and into your body more, and that's what you want, because that will help calm you. So often our bodies know what to do, but our minds get in the way, and I think that relates to way more than just anxiety. Yeah. Tip number 6 is meditation. Meditation helps me so much. Sometimes if I'm feeling anxious already, it's not enough to kind of stop that from happening, but meditation on a daily basis really helps to process emotions, process stress, let go, and honestly unplug a little bit, because everyone needs some time to just unplug, and sleep is great, but I find meditation to be a very powerful alternative to that. It affects me in a different way than sleep does. It's conscious time when you're just alone with yourself in this calm state. If you don't feel comfortable meditating, that's okay. You know, you can, if you want to get into it, practice and start very small. Start with 5 minutes, and it doesn't have to be every day. Give it a shot, you know, it might help. All of these tips are things that have helped me. I hope at least one of them helps you too. They can be used not just for anxiety, but any kind of stress. You know, they're stress reducers. If you've had experiences like this, let me know down below. You know what? You're not alone. It's becoming more and more a normal thing, and it's nothing to be afraid of, and it's nothing to be ashamed of either. Take it one day at a time. Go easy on yourself. It's important. I will see you all in another video. There will be more, and I hope you have an awesome day.